Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel, joined by a familiar face here, Pawtucket Mayor Donald Grebien.
Great to be here.
Thank you for coming back in today. It is a Pawtucket-themed day.
Yes, I know. I didn't get my beer yet, but I saw earlier, so
There's
we're
some
ready.
beer waiting for you in the green room with Jeremy. You've tried their pilot beers, their small batch?
Yes, the holiday one was a little spicy for me. I tell everybody I'm a very light drinker, but I did have the other one, so it was good.
Can't take the heat. Had to get out of the kitchen.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of heat, you are in the kitchen with the Paw Sox right now.
Yep.
You just had an announcement saying that the time is now or never. It's the end of December. We're looking at the potential for a vote on the Senate side beginning of January.
Correct.
But your huge concern right now is Worcester.
Right. And Worcester is definitely on the table. Everything we're hearing, all indications, especially when Governor Baker comes out from saying no subsidies to doing a subsidy. So that's a concerning for us. And there's a hesitation on the House side, which we've all heard and we're trying to deal with. And as we all understand, all politics is local, and I do understand that and respect it. We're trying to balance through and say, okay, the best deal is, we thought we had a very good structured deal, an agreement. The Senate made it a little stronger. The House hopefully supports that, and we're done, and we keep them, and we're done in January. But if not, as Worcester comes in, we're throwing the Hail Mary going, well, there are other options out there that we need to talk about, rather than letting the current revenue of $2.2 million go to Worcester.
So talk with us a little bit about that. Before we go back to the politics, I do want to talk about the Plan B.
Yeah.
Because you have floated it out there saying, let Pawtucket keep the state income and sales tax from McCoy and put it towards the public financing of the stadium. How does that work if the state's not getting that income?
So currently, what we took, right, is an easy math, right, in the back of an envelope. Today's revenue is $2.2 million that they get from the existing McCoy, from the Paw Sox. So that $2.2 million equates to $32 million of borrowing, right? If you put the city and the states together, it's 38. So the city's liability at that point would be $6 million, and we have the ancillary development in the big numbers. It's less than the $15 million. But we always went into this when we negotiated with Commerce and the Paw Sox, and they'll stay fine at $45 million. They're still consistent, protecting everybody. But when we started this, the state always had the dollars, keeping the $2 million that they get, or $2.2 million, on the table because it's existing revenue. Mm-hmm. But if we're going to lose it, right, we're arguing, then if you're willing to throw it away to Worcester, then give it to the city of Pawtucket, and you do it through, very similar to what they did at Providence with the Providence Place Mall. There was dollars that were allocated to that, the bonds, and you created a ballpark district, if you would.
So who have you had discussions with this around? Colleagues in Pawtucket? What about statewide?
So no, we were holding, we were waiting, and then there was some more comments and concerning. We're hoping to get this done in January. We threw the Hail Mary because of Worcester. We've pen to paper, I should say, to the Speaker and the Senate President and the Chairman of both committees. It'll hit tomorrow, explaining what our thought process is. I want to be abundantly clear. The Senate, House, support it, get it done, and we move on. But if you're really willing to allow them to leave the state of Rhode Island and that $2 million to revenue to go to Worcester, then consider this as the alternative.
And that would have to go through legislative channels?
Absolutely. It's still
okay.
a legislative process, so it would be creating all of the revenues generated, which it does pay for itself. I know people are skeptical, but the numbers are the numbers, and it does pay for itself.
So as we sit here end of December looking into the new assembly session in January, again, we've seen much more support on the Senate side. We hear from Senate President Ruggiero really wants an up or down vote right when they get back, essentially. Is lobbying the House sort of your big ticket item at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to get through the holidays. We've been having meetings with the legislature, the House side. Clearly, the Pawtucket delegation is all for this, very supportive of it. There are a lot of House members that are in support of it that I've had conversations with. It really comes down to the leadership and the direction of the leadership. And I met with the Speaker the week before Thanksgiving, and I laid it on the table. It's very important to Pawtucket. If he does not support this or does not allow the membership to support it, he really kills our opportunity to continue the growth in Pawtucket.
So if it goes through in the Senate, doesn't in the House, is that, you talked about a plan B, is that sort of plan C at that point to try to then take that tack for what that other option you were just discussing?
Yeah, so if they just go forward, we leave it as is, right? Because we don't want to take the revenue away from the state if the state's willing to be our partner. But if they're willing to, again, throw it away to Worcester, we're sitting there saying, give that revenue to us. And that becomes the plan C, plan D, whatever you want to call it, becomes an option. Again, the money is always there. The state has a lot more dollars than we do, you know, in the terms of income, so it would really pay for itself.
So how do you respond to, again, the state's Republican Party have always been naysayers to any public involvement in this all along, and they just released their response this week to the latest plan, saying it's worse than the first plan, that there's more public borrowing, and that still the public doesn't know the financial information of the owners. How did you respond to what they put forth?
I mean, I haven't seen it, I've heard about it, so I think that it's politics at its best and its worst, depending on what side you're coming from. All the information has been there, right? You know, they've been able to grab the narrative of naysaying, and this is about billionaires, and this has always been about public investment from the city, right? This is about the city of Pawtucket. It's easy for gubernatorial candidates and Republican parties who don't have any many Republicans in the city of Pawtucket, we'll say, they don't care about Pawtucket, and that's just true. This is about revitalizing our downtown, our Pawtucket, and they don't care. So the numbers are there. I mean, if you look at it, it's been vetted. I mean, there were multiple hearings. We have all of the chambers of commerce who have come on board. We've done our homework, but we've been behind that narrative of billionaires, and we've been behind that narrative of 38 studios, and that's the fear. And leaders have to lead, and sometimes they might not be, they might be difficult choices, but they are right, and the numbers are there. So they don't pick it apart. I'd love to see their analysis, because it truly is, it pays for itself.
But you say that the numbers have been there, but you do know that some folks have said, actually show us the financial information for the owners. Now we know that they provided it to the Auditor General, but not in fact made public. I believe that's the sticking point. Do you get the argument by folks that saying, could we see their financials? Why can't they backstop it if push comes to shove?
It is the challenge with that, right, is we always want to be transparent, but then we have to do it across the board, and I would say that everybody has to release theirs, right? Everybody says they're billionaires, but it's really a $10 to $12 million business, right? And you equate it to a department in City Hall, right? Our budget's $123 million, right? And you start talking about that. So I get everybody wants to, but no other project has been vetted like this. Everything is out there. And then it scares businesses away. When we look at, I come from the private industry. As the politician, you want to be transparent, right? Everything is out there. Mm-hmm. But we don't do it for all of them, so I think that is really a legislative balance, right? That if you're going to do it and it becomes a policy, then it should be done for all.
Okay, so we're going to be keeping an eye up at the State House as you had the press conference, again, looking, as you said, the time is now or never for Pawtucket. And when you have these conversations, and they're very visceral with people who are opposed, what is your response? Is there no winning over the people who are opposed? Is that just never going to happen?
I got out of my comfort zone yesterday a little bit by throwing, hitting for the wall, if you will. It's hard sometimes, right? Because there are people who, no matter what, right? If you look at the numbers are there. But I never give up trying, because that's, probably why I became a politician, right? We all want to be loved by everybody, and we can't. So at the end of the day, though, it really becomes down to, forget everything else, right? Forget about the Poor Sox for a minute. Just talk about the community. We have that Apex site, right, that's been vacant for minimal use. I shouldn't say vacant, for many, many years. This is an opportunity for economic development. It brings in, we've got commitments from the hotel, we've got commitments from developers. It's going to bring new revenue in. It's going to be better than and double than what I have. So the city has. So that's what we try to do, the challenge with it.
Well, while I have you in here, there was another release that came out of the office that I want to let folks know about. You're looking for people to get involved with city government, boards and commissions.
Yep. So we, as a city, we're obligated by the voters, the charter, to go out and advertise all the boards and commissions coming out. And always this time we advertise and we go out and do a little more PR. We put it on the website. So anybody that wants to be involved, send the resume in. We want to encourage and get people engaged, because that's how we become a stronger community.
Well, I'm glad that we had you in today. Again, for the past 30 minutes, it's been all things Pawtucket.
It's all good.
The Isle Brewers Guild, talking about the Pawtuckets. Of course, all eyes when they come back in session in January. Anything else you want viewers to know before you take off?
Listen, I want everybody to have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Safe New Year, and as Pawtucket grows, we become a stronger community, and I appreciate all the opportunity.
So did you come in via 95, or did you come in via Hope Street and the Boulevard?
I went to Hope Street and the Boulevard, and that's why I was late. So we were just talking about that. So.
It's the holidays. There's a lot of traffic out there.
Which
just
is good.
Urging people just to be careful. Give yourself a little extra time. We do appreciate your time coming all the way up to Providence to again talk with folks with the latest from Pawtucket regarding the Paw Sox. Mayor Grebien, we wish you a happy holidays, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
You.
Okay, I'll let you around the corner.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thanks.